Here are the top posts from askreddit on the 4th of November 2019.
Ka 1. How would you feel about a feature where if someone upvotes a cross-post, the original post is upvoted automatically?
Sammy Boy. What about subs that cross-post from other subs to mock them? Jiggly Wiggly Buff. The pharmaceutical companies would be outraged.
Skimble Scamble. You could easily abuse this and force cross-posted content to the top of smaller, laxly moderated subs that no one in that community actually wants to see.
TC1827. Serious therapists of Reddit. What are some red flags we should look for in therapists?
Socratic. I think there is a misconception that advice giving is what is most helpful. Therapists don't often give advice, but rather they offer alternative perspectives and create space for a collaborative approach to explore new ways of overcoming obstacles. We, as therapists, shouldn't ever assume we know what is best for a client to do. It is their life. If you have a therapist telling you what to do, I would have to assume there's an unhealthy power dynamic occurring which can have a variety of negative outcomes. Of course there is a time and place for advice, but usually that should come from a peer or family, who are essentially at the same power level as you.
G. If they immediately try to present you with answers to all of your problems, not lead you to your own solutions, there is a major distinction there.
Ninja the Click. If they start most of their responses with "at least" and then try to put a silver lining on it, instead of honoring your pain and what you shared with the monsieur. Edit. My use of the word honor in this context is meant to convey that you take a person's hurt and trauma seriously. Don't diminish or downplay what someone went through or how it affected them. Instead, respect what they've been through and how they got through it so you can focus on healing. Edit 2. Thank you to the people that reminded me of Brené Brown's silver lining talk. It is the perfect example. Much better said, and even illustrated in an awesome YouTube video that helped me put this phenomenon into words.
Nif09. When you're lying in bed at night, do you ever randomly remember some relatively minor social missteps or poorly chosen words you said years earlier, and then beat yourself up over it even though it really wasn't a big deal? If so, what happened? Alice Chupp. I recently started at a fancy-ass school. The principal asked me how many people went to my old school. 650. I thought about sounding cool enough and said 6,500.
Somebody tomorrow. Aha. Just last night this occurrence took place in my mind. On the verge of falling asleep I come to a mortifying social realization. I sent a song to my friend over 2 years ago that I knew they would love. And they did. They enthusiastically shared how awesome this song was, and thanked me. For some ungodly reason, 2 years later, I realized that it was in fact this friend who had shared the song with me only a month prior to that. I died a little bit more on the inside last night. Cosmocomics. You just reminded me of the time when my teacher walked towards me, smiled and said, "How are you?" Quote. There was silence for a moment, so I naturally assumed she was talking to me and said, "Not too bad." Quote. "Good, thanks, you," replied her trainee teacher, who had been standing behind me. Edit. Just to clarify, I'm no longer in school and this still haunts me. Last of the real ones. How do guys feel about girls making the first move? Taylor 7500. Literally every guy in this thread will be very happy for you to make the first move.
Green Seb. I think most guys would like it. Men, in general, rarely get compliments. For a girl to make the first move on them is probably the best compliment they could ever have. Edit. My thanks for the awards. Indeed, they too are great compliments.
Melissa Chamorro. Last week, I had a girl that I was on a first date with initiate the first kiss. I'm usually a hug first date, kiss second date type of guy, so this blew me away. In short, yes X 1000.
The mighty Chatticus. Teachers of Reddit, what is the most NSFW thing you've seen while being a teacher?
Carrick. Back when I was a long-term substitute, I walked into the backstage area of the theater and interrupted two students having sex on couch we used for the show the previous week. Turned around and walked out saying you have 2 minutes to get dressed and get on stage. I didn't report them to admin, but I gave them a talk about appropriate time and place. I then had the couch moved into storage.
Bells 87. Former teacher. Had a 3-year-old scream at me during nap time that I was a fucking bitch. I mean, I am, but no need to be so blunt about it.
The Celery Man. Summer camp counselor back in late 90s. A 13-yo girl gave a 13-yo boy a blowjob in the woods. The boy stupidly bragged about it to the other kids. Another counselor overheard it and reported it to the camp owner, director. He had both kids brought to the office and they each had to call their parents and tell them why they were getting kicked out of camp. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.